Hi, this is Paul. I'm back from my vacation. Had a wonderful vacation visiting my mother and my family in Massachusetts, and I'm back in Sacramento. I'll give a little update on my channel. All my projects are still out there, and I just keep plunking away at them as I can. I've got a number of conversations with pastors planned. There was a Reddit conversation a couple days ago when I was in Massachusetts, and someone had questions about pastors and they're thinking about Peterson. So I'm gonna actually have a number of conversations planned with pastors, some about Peterson, and then I wanted to do some other conversations with some CRC ministers about some other things. So my channel isn't just about Jordan Peterson, even though right now he's occupying a lot of my thought and a lot of my attention, but my channel is about stuff I think about and work on. So I'm going to do some more work in this monarchical vision that I was talking about in my last two videos. And yeah, so there'll probably be a couple more videos coming out about that. I'm getting more requests for doing some writing. I want to keep both video and writing and, of course, my day job. So I'm going to have to see how I can do all this. And I was away, and so I haven't gone through the comment section for a week. I'm probably not going to try and go back through all the comments I missed. I'm sorry. There's just too many comments for me to work through. I might do it if I get a chance, if I get some time, but we're coming up to Easter on April 1, and Easter's a busy time for pastors. So things aren't slowing down. But there were a bunch of really interesting things coming out recently. Just today I saw Bishop Barron did a video about Peterson, which I thought was a lovely video, and quite positive. And we mentioned Gnosticism, and the way Bishop Barron used the word Gnostic in that video, I understand, because that's one of the uses of the Gnostic word. My objection a few months ago to the use of Gnosticism with Peterson was much more relating to whether Peterson is aligned with ancient Gnosticism. Barron is using the word more in the sense of how does Peterson relate Christianity to history, and is Jesus' death and resurrection an archetypal story, or is it historical? And obviously, as a pastor in a conservative denomination, I believe it's historical. But I think we have to do a lot of much more careful thinking about our own culture in terms of our own assumptions about history. And this, for those of you who have listened carefully, this is an issue that I'm doing a lot of thinking about. And so we'll hear more about that coming up. But I thought Bishop Barron's video about Peterson was really quite good. He was very, very positive. So that was quite interesting. There's also a very negative article about Peterson that came out in Current Affairs, very long, and I commented on Twitter that if there's a little bit of irony with this guy's complaint about obscurantism. Did I say that right? Obscurantism with Peterson. His article was pretty long, but it was also very negative. I know a lot of Peterson fans will object to it. It's going to be interesting to see, if Peterson takes this article on or not, or just lets it go by. He's got so much on his fork right now. He can't take everything on. But I found it an interesting article, and yeah, I read it. I don't think, if you're a Jordan Peterson fan, you should just, read the positive things and then disagree with the negative things. I think it's important to read all of them and weigh them, because the truth is sometimes we learn the most from our critics. And so if someone's making criticism, well, listen to them and see if there's anything that you can gain from it. There was a David French who's a writer that he's written some really good things in the past that I've read. And National Review had again quite a positive review of Peterson's 12 Rules. Now that Peterson's got a popular book out, it's much easier for a lot of people who are not going to sit down and watch hours and hours of YouTube to get a picture about who Jordan Peterson is. And so I think that's part of the reason that we're seeing so many people out there writing about him. And this is part of the reason I've got some friends saying now it's time to do a little bit of writing, because I've done a lot of blogging and stuff in my past, but writing it's a different medium, but you're able to engage people who don't have time to watch hours and hours of YouTube. I had the opportunity on my vacation to try to explain Jordan Peterson to a number of people, including my family, and maybe I'll do a little video about a 3 or 4 minute elevator pitch in terms of who Peterson is, why he's important, and why I'm getting involved with him. Part of this is because in terms of politics, I've always kind of been center left, and so some of my friends who are from different periods of my life are a little alarmed at the new company I'm keeping, but that's their problem more than mine. I am who I am, and I've always been who I am. So it's been interesting watching this and going through this journey for me. Also, First Things now. First Things is a Christian blog and periodical, mostly from Roman Catholic groups. Quite intellectual and politically tends to lean well. And this is where our left-right distinctions in politics really don't hold true, because the Roman Catholic Church has their own political weather. It's an ancient, huge organization, and so trying to put the Roman Catholic Church on the U.S. political left or right doesn't really fit very well. But Matthew Schmidt, who's written a number of things in First Things, again had quite an approving article about Peterson in First Things. That was quite interesting to read. Also, the Gospel Coalition, Joe Carter. Joe Carter is he's a very sharp, in this case, a Reformed Christian writer, writes for the Acton Institute, the Acton blog, but also the Gospel Coalition. The Gospel Coalition is a group of conservative, Reformed, confessionally conservative Reformed churches and pastors. Some celebrity pastors like Tim Keller, John Piper, and a variety of others. And so again, it was interesting to read Joe Carter's take on Peterson. And you'll notice that most people are talking about the Jordan Peterson phenomenon, because it's the interest of many of you who are thinking about Christianity in a different way because of Peterson that is getting the interest of the likes of Bishop Barron and myself and Joe Carter and First Things. And I'm really happy about this, because one of my concerns is that those of you who are gaining interest in Christianity will get the cold shoulder from the church, because in terms of the mainline churches, many of you won't tolerate the mainline churches because of a lot of what Peterson would call neo-Marxist modernism. And a lot over on the right-hand side of the church, their fundamentalist streak will also kind of alienate a lot of Peterson fans. And so my concern has all along been, will those of you who are looking to explore Christianity find good conversation partners? And those of you who want to join churches, will you be able to find good churches where you can begin what is of my interest, obviously, as a Christian minister, where you can begin to explore the Christian life? So, these have been my concerns. So I've been happy to see a lot of these pieces come out. Another piece, which wasn't about Jordan Peterson directly, but some of you might be interested in, was by Andrew Sullivan. And again, Andrew Sullivan for years had the Daily Dish, an early important blogger. He contrasted Steven Pinker with Patrick J. Deneen. I haven't read his book, Why Liberalism Has Failed, but this was quite a good piece by Andrew Sullivan. And Rod Dreher commented on this piece and I think he's right, that Andrew Sullivan is doing some of the best writing of his life. As many of you know, Andrew Sullivan is a gay Roman Catholic man. He doesn't fit into a lot of boxes easily. I mean, the last third of his article, he usually writes these 3-part articles, goes back over into his a very interesting piece on anti-Semitism, but then on to his battle against circumcision. And that's something that Andrew Sullivan has been at. But this piece talking about Steven Pinker and Deneen, or I don't know how to say Deneen's name, but how, according to Pinker, life has never been so good. And then Deneen points out, well, then why are we feeling this nihilism and this angst? And this is very much the space that Jordan Peterson is walking into, and the space that he is dealing with. And also, I'm in my to-do list, I've got the Jordan Peterson's Melbourne speech, which is an audio speech that's been posted, and it's on YouTube in a bunch of different places. When it comes to the question of him and religion, I think this was an important speech in terms of him continuing to think out loud. It's pretty clear that Peterson does like to think out loud. And then also the Swede has the second interview with Peterson, and the Swede mentions C.S. Lewis, so I'm going to have to do some treatment of that. So these are some of the things in my upcoming videos. I'm getting there we go. These are some of the things in my upcoming videos that I'm going to be doing. And so just wanted to give you a little channel update, and maybe tomorrow I'll have a video. I'll have a rough draft to Sunday video out because I've got to preach this Sunday, and then might even have a conversation about realism with a Dutch graduate student in philosophy who is also a Reformed Christian. So if we're able to pull that off tomorrow, should be some interesting stuff. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and for posting interesting comments. This entire experience for me has been it's been dramatic, and those of you out there who are listening, I'm a little backlogged onto my emails too. I've gotten emails from a number of you and Facebook messages, so I'll try to get responses to you. Again, when I'm on vacation, I prioritize spending time with family. But this entire process has been a really one of the most interesting chapters of my professional life in terms of dealing with Peterson and this YouTube experience, learning all that I have from so many of you in the comments and the emails that you've sent me and the Facebook messages that you've sent me and the links that many of you have sent me. Sometimes I can't keep up with it all. But so those of you who remember when I first got into this, when I had 2,000 subscribers, I was kind of freaking out because I wasn't used to that. Well, now we got about 4,400 subscribers, and that's okay. The rate of growth isn't too crazy. Again, for me, this has been a process of learning and exploring, and so many of you out there have made this process enjoyable and rewarding. And so I really appreciate all the fascinating conversations I had. I wish I had double the amount of time in the week to devote to this, but I'm a pastor and a father and a husband and all of those things, so this kind of squishes into the time that I can carve out for it. So thanks for watching, and you'll be seeing more of me this week.